All right. Greetings, folks. Welcome back to another Eurofront Let's Play video. And month is now December 1942 in our war game scenario. And that means that officially, excuse me if I'm being a little quiet there, but that means that officially December 1942, get my microphone here, the winter operations have officially begun on the Eastern Front. Interesting. This would be roughly the time that the Battle of Stalingrad would take place, right? In the winter of not 1941, but the winter of 1942. And there will even be a winter of 1943. By the time we get to the winter of 1944, you're fighting in Hungary and Poland, and eventually East Germany. So that's a very interesting note, because I think, at least I imagine that the sort of stereotype of World War II is that, number one, the German army got defeated at Moscow, and then number two, it was always fighting in the winter that really defeated the German. Those stereotypes are actually true, but there's so much more to it than that. And the story goes far deeper. And I think a lot of people are not aware of necessarily the German summer offensives and the scope and scale of what they were compared to any other major operations in World War II. Although, to be fair, the Soviet operations and the Western Allied power operations to defeat the Third Reich by the end of that war, they were pretty much top-notch. They were like some of the best operations. They were some of the most efficient. And I mean, this is obviously speaking about it in hindsight, 2020. The casualties were still absurdly high for most of these operations. A lot of mistakes surely happened at the tactical level. Maybe a few strategic blunders here and there. And a lot of casualties. So still, I mean, when you look at like the war-changing operations, they changed the whole war, some of these operations. I think there's a long list of examples. There's a very long list of examples that we could turn to. I think for the Eastern Front, or really for the whole Eurofront, I think the first one that comes to mind is the Battle of France. Without a doubt, that was a big one. In this game that we've played, I would argue it was probably just the first opening weeks of Barbarossa, I would still say, were the best periods of the war overall, because it was just lined up with victories. But eventually we ran into all the logistical problems, and the Soviets had all these reserves, and everything started to slow down. We had to like attack in a piecemeal way as the front just got bigger and bigger and bigger. That issue has continued well into 1942, but we have had a few like smaller scale German blitzes that are probably more to the scale of the Battle of France. And we've seen a lot of German like smaller scale success, but it doesn't seem like it's been enough to actually win the war. Probably the most famous one that we've seen is Leningrad, I would argue, the Battle of Leningrad. And then of course, that's it. And there's no Battle of Stalingrad, no Battle of Moscow. There was a successful 1942 Battle of Kursk. That was pretty well done. That was like textbook German success. But there's still no Stalingrad. There's still no Moscow. But we did have Leningrad. And we still technically do, sort of. I mean, there's still a lot of enemies on both sides. Two powerful armies there. But still no Sevastopol even. So less battles than the actual historical conflict thus far. So the German army is in better shape right now than they were historically. But just because they're in better shape, they seem to still be in like a stalemate with the Soviet Union, I would argue, strategic stalemate. And that ultimately is really hard to beat, especially when to the west you have the Allies that are now putting massive pressure on Italy to the point where it's possible that Italy could fall very, very soon. and that would be really bad. So Italy is very vulnerable to an Allied push. So this is going to be an interesting turn because of that. We're going to go ahead and start the winter turn of 1942. Let's just jump right in. So I'm going to go ahead and start the production. Now, normally you could like end the game here if you were playing in a tournament scenario, and you can actually count up the points on both sides. And they have a whole tournament point system that you can use to track to see, like, you know, in their sort of quantitative method, tell you who won that round of fighting. And so it's pretty interesting. I would argue that this overall summer campaign, I would give the win, I would give it like a minor victory to the Axis, I would argue. Because they won all these smaller battles, and it would have been a like a great victory or grand victory, major victory perhaps, were it not for the loss of Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, and the success at Alexandria. Technically, the Axis lost the battle before it even began, pretty much. So we're going to start with the production. Let's start with the Mediterranean front. This seems to be taking priority. We still have this Italian unit in Tunis, and it's going to be cut off right now with this American push. This unit is completely cut off, and I don't think I'll be able to even pull it out on this next turn. I tried to, or in hindsight, I had the opportunity to pull it out, but oh wellsy daisies, I did not. So that's that. As far as Western Front production, we got 25 minus 5 because of this extra, what is it called? Desert maintenance. So that's a nuisance on our production. So that leaves us with 4 dice, and that's it. Oh, you know what? I just realized this is a new month of December, and there are going to be some big production shifts happening on this turn. That's right. So we can look at that. Let's see here. If you look at the Axis, they just gained another 5. The Allies, on the other hand, gained another 10, and the Soviets gained another 8. So the Allied powers are just winning on the economic front right now, and it's probably going to start adding up. So the question is where do we want to transfer those that production to? Do we want to focus on the Mediterranean front or focus on the Western front? It is hard to say which one would be better. I'm pretty sure we want to focus on the Mediterranean front right now. So I'm going to give the Axis 5 more. So their production is going to go up to 30, just like the Allies. The Allies are gaining another 10. So that's pretty impressive. But then they could actually transfer 5 over to the Western Front. And I say they just keep doing that. Keep prioritizing on the Western Front. Because why not? And I'm trying to understand why this value is at a level 1 right now. Oh, okay. I see. So this thing should still be... Oh, it's right there. Okay, so yeah, we're going to give the Western Front... Or excuse me, the Mediterranean front 5 more. And then the other remaining 5 are going to be transferred over to the Western Front, like so. I probably should just label this as Western Front, so I don't get confused anymore. The Axis, on the other hand, their Western Front will not change. It will stay the same, because it's just handing over whatever it had to the Mediterranean Front. And I'm hoping for just some good dice rolls. But I'm pretty sure at this point, strategically, we are going to hold on to Libya as long as we can. But it's not just Libya we have to protect. We also have to protect Sardinia. And there's also another unit that we needed to protect. Another territory, Sicily, Albania. There's multiple areas that we have to protect to prevent the Italian Empire from demoralizing and eventually surrendering. So, yeah, it's not looking good. We could see a total collapse of Italy right now. So that's why we're focusing on trying to get transfer units down there. And then the Eastern Front, the Soviets, they gain another 8, which is pretty nice. So their production went up to 61. So the Soviet production has been fluctuating, but their economy seems to thus far overall survive the war. I guess it's been operating at 75% of its full capacity, which was, no, at the start of the war it was 68 actually, and yeah, so something in the 60s range, is just enough to keep it going. So we're gonna roll our 5 dice now, or no, we're rolling 6 dice for the Mediterranean front. We're getting 9 plus 9, that's 18. And I think we're going to go ahead and just build up the HQs right now. That takes priority. We have 3 left. There's nothing that I can spend on that 3. The Western Front production is still, I think it's now 27, so that's pretty good. Definitely build up this Panzer Corps. There's that. I could now transfer this one into Tripoli. I could transfer this whole group to Tripoli, actually. It would be able to get there in time. We just need to fortify Sicily. Thinking of maybe putting this fortress unit in Sicily. Wouldn't that be something? I think I'm going to go for it. We're going to try to fortify Italy as best we can right now and not let the Allies get a foothold in these areas. Heck no. Can't allow it. And then I'm curious to know about these fortress units. How do they work? There's got to be something that talks about them. Here we go. It says, if unsupplied fortress units lose triple fire and triple defense, but can only be reduced to 1 CV cadres by supply attrition. Okay, that's very specific. As long as it's in supplied, though, we're good. And then I'm curious to know, though, what about, pretty sure sea supplies. Yeah, no, the sea supply rule still applies. Interesting. Okay. Just trying to think of a strategy here. And unfortunately, putting up a fortress unit there, it's good, but it's not great. It's okay. We have 27 production, though. I just spent 8 there. That leaves me with 19. Go ahead and build up OKW. That's another 10. So I'm left with 9. Definitely build up this. Let's build up this unit here. So that's going to cost another 4. That leaves me with 5 left. And the remaining 5 can be spent on... Pretty much just going to have to spend on another infantry. There's not much else to build up. Maybe build up Italian units. I could be building up more Italian units right now. I mean, they seem like the bare minimum. I'd rather just deploy German units. We just don't really have that many good reinforcements right now for Germany. Nothing impressive. We do get another HQ though. And another HQ is definitely going to help with operations, but it is logistically pricey. But we could probably do a few sea moves. Right now, the problem is that as long as the Allies control Tunis, they control the Tyrrhenian Sea. And that's kind of a nuisance. And so I'm thinking we're going to try to retake Tunis to protect Rome. That's the idea. While at the same time protecting Sardinia. Yeah. So I think we're going to have to do something like that. So we got a lot of different options right now, for sure. The Allies don't have naval supremacy just yet, though. So that's something to keep in mind. Is that we still contest the seas, and we should. I think we should take advantage of that, some way, somehow. I think I'm just gonna deploy. I can deploy another infantry unit. Do I need infantry right now? don't think I need infantry. Oh no, I do need infantry. I definitely need infantry. There's no doubt about it. I need infantry. But is there a better unit other than infantry? That's the question. It's hard to say. I don't think so. I think actually what I wanted to deploy is more of these militia units. I think that's what I'm going to do. Deploy more militia units if I can. Yeah, I'll put this guy in Milan, I guess. And then I have one more HQ though. I guess we'll go ahead and put it here. In hindsight, that's where I probably should have put these E expeditionary units is right there. They would have been a lot faster to mobilize. But yeah, that's that. No reinforcements in the Mediterranean front. I think we finished the Western Front production, right? Or I have one more infantry to build up, I'm pretty sure. Or I think I already spent it all, right? One more infantry. I might as well build up this guy, right? Right. So yeah, it's another 8 plus the Panzer Corps. That's, what was that, 16 plus the other HQ. Yeah, that's 26. All right, Eastern Front production. I'm going to spend it pretty much all on infantry. That's the idea. So we have 79 production right now. Still very high for the Axis. So we're just going to go all out on infantry, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's already 40. 9, 10. I'll go ahead and build this guy up. 11. And that's 44, right? Already built up 44. Plus this HQ is 54. And I said 79, right? Oh my gosh, we still have a lot left. We still have 25 left to spend. Oh, and I think actually we got to update the finished production with the finished production, right? It actually goes up to 82 now. So we actually have 28 left, I'm pretty sure. If I did my math right there, 79 minus 54 is 25, plus another 3 is 28. So pretty good. I thought it was a lot worse. I frankly thought the situation was much worse. 28, we still have a lot to build up. Now I decided to skip out on some HQ builds, or rather I've just been saving them up, and that's really paid off, because those HQs are very expensive. They're extremely expensive. They're by far more expensive than the ground units, it seems. So we don't really have anything in our dead pile right now. Any reinforcements? I don't think so. January? No, I mean, we start getting some. We won't get some good units until February 1943. So that's not till the end of the winter, pretty much. So we have 28 left. I kind of want to pull these guys out. And I think in order to do that, I want to learn more about Finland and learn more about where do those units go. The reinforcements. Finland. We got Western Front, East Front, Med Front, Eurofront, many fronts. What am I looking for? I think Northern Front. And I want to know about the reinforcements, if any. Should probably be in the production. It's not tracked separately. It says, here it is, Axis building in Norway, Sweden is paid for, da da da. But it doesn't tell you where the units go. It says building new units. Unit arrival, here we go. Allied units arrive in friendly major ports. Soviet units in home cities as usual. Axis units can arrive in Oslo. And then, oh, it doesn't say anything about Finnish units though. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to put them in Helsinki. You know, unless there's something that talks about minor power. What's it called? Minor power builds. Finland would be considered a minor power, I believe. Yeah, that's all we got on Finland. I mean, I think minor command, national supply, minor production. Eliminated minor units can be rebuilt as cadres in their capitals. So yeah, I think the answer is yeah, Helsinki. So the idea I have is that we would need 3 Finnish units to replace our 3 units here. Because we're still vulnerable to a Soviet amphibious invasion. And we don't want to lose more months, nor do we want to lose the supply pass to Petsamo. The easiest move would be to push the Soviets out of Soroka, and then we can move all these units via rail. It'd be so much easier. So it's actually an incentive for us to push forward, not back. Either way, we need a rear guard. So we need at least 2 more units for that. So I think we're going to focus here in the north during the winter. And the rest can... We're just going to hold off for now. Until we get more panzers. Because I don't think we have the firepower right now to break through. We can take Sevastopol. But our main focus is going to have to be defense, I think. For this conflict. There may be an incentive to put another fortress unit over here too. Although I decided to put it in France. I'm thinking another fortress unit might help. But Smolensk was a good spot, 100%. I'm thinking maybe fortify Kursk. That would be the place to fortify. That's the only part of the front that it would not... Yeah, maybe we should do that. And then we're going to have to hold on to the the western front for dear life. With whatever units we have. We don't have any good units right now to defend the western front. You don't have anything. The western front is completely bare bone. But yeah, we're not done with production. Let's finish up production. 28 left. I'm going to build up this unit. These are 23. Let's build up some Finnish units. Build up some Finnish units. Let's go ahead and do that. We can build up a few more. 3 more to be exact. Put them both in Helsinki. That's going to be 6 apiece. So from 23, now we're down to 11 left. And that 11 sounds to me like we are going to spend it on the HQ that we have here. Boom, build that up. And then yeah, there's all our units on the front line are at full strength right now. Okay, I have to pretty much, not all, but pretty much most if not many. So that is interesting. I kind of want the Finnish to really do something sooner rather than later as well. So yeah, we're going to try to get those 2 units to the far north. I think I'm going to keep the Helsinki unit as a strategic reserve. I probably want to send it though to Leningrad. If I can. I think I will. But I want to get these Finnish units moving up to the north. It's going to be logistically a nightmare to do. It's going to take a long time. In fact, I may not even be able to do it. It's all going to come down to the Mannerheim HQ, really. They're going to do the bulk of the brunt work to get those units moving. While this German HQ is going to have to do the exact opposite and try to pull these units out. They're going to have to swap places eventually get these 2 units to Oulu. From Oulu, I can get it then to like Leningrad by rail. We're going to try to move them all the way down into these mountains. Okay, because we need more mountain units, and that would be the perfect unit type to push forward. It's much more cost effective than the Panzer Corps, and they're designed to find the mountains. That will be our 1943 campaign. So with 11 left, we've spent the German production. Let's switch over then to the Soviets. And do their production. This is going to be a shining moment for the Red Army, I think. Because I think they were at 53 production, right? And they gained 8 more. This should be it here, 61. But yeah, this is a great opportunity for the Soviets to really flex their muscle, to really show what they have learned in the war so far. Because another thing to point out is that the Soviets will get double fire with their aircraft. That's a huge game changer. In fact, I'm wondering if the Western Allied powers have changed anything for winter 42. It looks like the Axis Western Front air power and Mediterranean Front air power both go down to single fire. Ouch. So the Luftwaffe on the Western Front is really falling behind now. It's been now put to a first-grade Air Force, while the Soviets have become a second-grade Air Force. They're now evenly matched. Holy smokes. So Soviet production is 61. Great. What was it? Not great, not terrible. Stavka. Building that up. Build up, ironically, the Ukrainian front HQ. What else? That's already 20 spent. I think I really want to see the Soviets attack. This is the perfect opportunity for the Western HQ to try to break through this front. And I'm thinking the way to start this offensive is just an all-out general attack. Play it safe. I'm not expecting any wild breakthroughs. I'm simply expecting to kind of put the German defensive line into like full alert mode. I want to strain the German army as much as I can. The question is can we sustain our casualties? Because we will suffer heavy losses. It's a guarantee. So this is what we're going to focus on, I think, with our production. The remaining 41 production points that I have are going to be all dedicated to just these units. I know I could build up these other reserves and all this, but I know I could be building up like all these amazing reserves because we do need more tank armies. I'm first going to do something against this German army. And I'm hoping to make this operation short and sweet. I don't want this thing to be a long, drawn out campaign. I want it to be a decisive operation, and we can go all in and then do some damage and then pull out if we need to. Make it like a hit and raid and then go back to the defensive mode because it's easier to defend than it is to attack. And then we can shift our strategy to building up those reserves. So let's focus on building up these units. These tank armies could really use a little bit more tanks. So I'm going to focus on the tank armies first. They're very expensive. There are 4 apiece. So I'm already spending 16 production points on just these tank armies. I also have some tank corps. Let's build them up to full strength. So I've already spent 20 production points. I have 21 left. And if I have any cavalry, let's build them up. We have this shock army. Build that up. Now I'm left to 18. And the 18 is going to go all out on the infantry, of course. I can build up 9 infantry, which is pretty good. So how many did I build there? I think it was 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah, that was exactly right. So that was 3. I have 6 more to build. I can actually build all the infantry up to full strength. That's really nice. So then I have 3 more left. And pretty much all my infantry. Not all. No, not all. These reserves could be built up. Now I just could build up one more infantry. Which one would that be? Probably Tbilisi, I would think. Or maybe over here. Let's fortify Tbilisi. And then I think I might pull out the 5th army from Tbilisi. No, we'll leave 2 armies to defend this time. I'm not going to leave 1 army. That 1 army formula to defend a city doesn't work. We need to leave behind 2 armies. The only problem I'm seeing is that the road to Baku still feels very vulnerable to a German offensive. But they won't have combat support. But this corps could be definitely built up. So I'm actually going to change this. Put that over here. So that's it for the Soviets. Interesting build. Western Front for the Allies. The Allies have the full initiative, right? They are really, I think of all the armies right now, they're the ones attacking the hardest. Well, everybody's, their operations are smaller, less manpower, so they can just spend more on the movement of their army, but their production is going up. So Mediterranean Front is 35 right now, so that's 7 dice rolls. And we get 9 plus another 8 is 17 plus another 10 is 27. That's impressive. And we're going to build up that unit. That was 10. Build up 2 more infantry. Where was that? This guy over here. So that's 12. So now we're at 22. The last 5 will be built like that, just like that. Now we're very much ready for a British counteroffensive. That's exactly what we're going to do. Then the Americans, how much production do we have from the Western Front? Western Front production is 28. So I'm going to give another 6 over here. Because it does have its basin going to the Atlantic Ocean. So I'm spending 10 rather to build up that HQ. Did we get any more reinforcements? I don't think so. No, that's it. Still pretty good. So that's another 10. Spend another 10 on this HQ. We're left with 6 production points. Let's go ahead and build up this mech unit right there. And that is that. That is what we can afford for the Allies. Oh, you know what? It would be nice if we had our Supreme HQ built up, rather. So I'm going to change up the order there and build it up over here. Supreme HQ is a lot more valuable right now. We can move up more reinforcements more efficiently with the Supreme HQ. In fact, we need the Supreme HQ if we want to keep this American army on the move. Although we can move this guy by rail. Right. We have a lot of Supreme moves that we actually have to do. So the, we can't move at all, unfortunately. So I think I just realized that we have to get this HQ to the Mediterranean front if we want to operate there at maximum efficiency. So that's what we got to do. Move this unit to the Mediterranean front. So we haven't taken Casablanca yet, and I'm actually beginning to see the effect. No, we can just move. We can move it via sea though. It's a long trip though. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it gets 1 by default. 2. No, it's actually 1. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a long trip for sure, but it will be worth it. And then I guess move 1 more unit over. I think the British may have other plans. We'll see. They could invade southern France. I don't think it's worth it though. We should invade Sardinia. That's exactly where the British are going to make their next move. Okay. Got it. We could do more amphibious invasions with the Americans. I think that might be the better move, but it's better if we wait with the Allies. Although, if we keep pushing hard, we'll keep the German army completely off guard. But I'm expecting a German counteroffensive pretty soon. So, the attack on Tripoli would be like now or never. I don't think we would be able to get there in time before the German army can mobilize. I don't think so. So we're going to probably wait here and then kind of coagulate our forces. But I think that's it for the production, right? I think we're ready to start this turn. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, and so we'll start with the Western Allied powers. We're going to roll for the weather and see what the storm tables are like. It's going to be the Mediterranean basin that actually gets mud this turn. So you can't do any amphibious invasions with mud, with the storms happening. But other than that, the supplies is good. Allied supplies is fine. So the Allied turn will be what? I think we're going to activate this HQ. We're going to make one move. And, which one do we want to move? Right. I think we're going to move this guy by rail. We're gonna switch to the American command, and we're actually going to make it a ground unit. And we can actually put it right there. So it's moving this trip by rail. It's in range, and now it still can receive more production. So that's pretty good. That's one strategic move. Another strategic move is then to, so we have technically 3 more left, plus this Supreme HQ has 1 by default, so it actually has 4 right now. I'm actually going to use those 4 to move this unit via sea across 4 sea basins, all of them allied controlled, all of them allied controlled, and they will move to Algiers. Now, on the next turn, that HQ can actually act as a, whatchamacallit, it'll be able to operate at full efficiency in the Mediterranean front. Excuse me. So, that said, that's going to be the Allied moves, I'm pretty sure. The Soviets also have the initiative on the Eastern Front. So all this talk about a Soviet offensive, let's see it. Time to see it, right? So I'm thinking we're going to deploy, deploy this Western HQ, and I'm just going to start throwing these Soviet formations at the Germans. We're going to attack with as many units, as many strong units as we can. I think we'll attack with mostly just infantry, and then we'll send forward 1 tank unit. I think we're going to make this a blitz also, because I don't know how dangerous the German army is. So if things go bad, I want to make sure that I can pull units out. I think that's the idea. And then maybe we can even break through. You never know. I just realized the front is too wide. I'm also going to activate Stavka too. And we're going to get a lot of units on the move. Because we genuinely need a Soviet win right now. I really want to see a Soviet win. These tank armies are still not strong enough, if you ask me. I kind of want to wait another turn. But I think we're going to go for it. Maybe we should wait another turn. So I don't think we're actually going to blitz then. No, I have to blitz. I think I have to blitz to make sure that my units are not all destroyed if this attack fails. I need to move in more reserves to withstand a German counteroffensive, because the Germans will do that. So I'm actually going to send the weaker units in first. I'm going to keep my tank armies in reserve. I kind of just want to test how strong the German line really is. And I'm going to use air power, right? I'm trying to like strain the Soviet line, the Axis lines right now. We're also we're gonna pull back some reserves, and we're gonna start moving them out of the other fronts. Start getting them to over here. We're gonna pull back the shock armies. These shock armies are very powerful, and I think it's time that we put them back into action. This guy moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom, right there, 9, 10. So I just got to mark them just so that I know that they cannot participate in the battle. Although I kind of inherently know that. So that was 3 supreme moves. I think the 4th supreme move I want to do, I think I'm going to pull back my HQ as well. I don't think I need these HQs unless I want to attack on this part of the front. Ooh, that would be something, wouldn't it? Maybe that's where we should put the shock armies. Oh. That's where we should put the shock armies, huh? I think that's exactly what we're going to do. The German line here is very weak. And sure, this area is meaningless, but it's just going to create just a very awkward situation for the German army if they lose this territory. So I say we push. I say we make that push. Push in the north, where the German army is weakest. And then hold off in the south for a little while longer. We're probably not going to do anything in the south. I kind of want to, but I think I'm going to have to do it later on because right now, priority is over here. So anyways, let's move this HQ. I just want to have another HQ in the area. I think I'm just going to put it like, I'm not sure which sector to support. I don't think we're ready to really break out. So that's my 4th move. I got 2 more moves. And the only thing I would think of doing is maybe counterattacking. Maybe trying to organize this. I think starting to deploy some of these reserves would be very nice. I'm not sure where to put him. I got another tank army out here too. They're just so weak. They really are. Could put tank army here. That would definitely scare the German army a bit. But I don't think I need to launch like super crazy attacks just yet. I don't think I'm ready for all that. There's no need. So we're in position to attack, but we just don't have the combat power. Just don't have enough of it right now. That's interesting. And I think it's just a lack of production. Maybe it's we sustained too many casualties thus far. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, right? And, you know, this is the first time where I don't really see any more Soviet units to even move around. Like, I don't even think I have to move around anymore. So, you know, I have extra units right now. It's very strange. And I have no idea where to put them. I don't know how useful they're actually going to be. So, that's one, and then I got one more. And I just couldn't tell you where I should put another unit. I think what I'm going to do is get this guy over to this part of the front. Yep, I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. There you go. So that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good setup. So I think we're ready to start the battle. We have airstrikes. Let's go ahead and do that. I think it's clear where we want to airstrike again. Soviets are going to be real stubborn here. And we're once again attacking, you guessed it, Smolensk. Why is the Battle of Smolensk Part 2 happening again? Who knows? But the Soviets are re-attacking Smolensk. And then now we have the Battle of Kursk. Another Battle of Kursk. We'll see if this all works. Airstrike, where should the airstrike go? Oh man, I just realized Soviets need a lot more units attacking. In fact, I think a lot of these attacks may completely fail. Like completely. Which is shocking. So I'm actually realizing the Soviets have less combat power than expected. So we're actually going to have to make the scale of this attack smaller, much smaller than expected. And it makes sense in terms of just not having enough units, not having enough firepower, pretty much. I don't even think we should attack Smolensk. Maybe we shouldn't attack Smolensk because it's such a costly operation. Basically, we give ourselves away to a German counteroffensive, unless we can fortify Smolensk, which we can't do, I don't think, as well as the Germans. So you know what? I think we're going to actually change all this. I'm going to send as many units as I can to the central front and have them be on the move. And then all our other units are just here to hold the line to the best of their ability. Yep, we're just going to hold the line. And then our main attacks are going to be in these pressure points over here. And that's that. So let's see how this goes. So we're seeing a Soviet counteroffensive basically in the central front. Not very original. Smaller scale than expected. I don't know. I have doubts, but it's better than nothing. So let's see what happens. We're doing airstrike. Soviet airstrike scores 2 hits. Nice. Off to a good start. German defense scores 1 hit. Soviets attack. Nice. Okay, so we're actually seeing the Soviets chew down the German army. Nice. I think they're about to break through, actually. We got another battle here. Battle of Stadiosko. And that was against a strong German defense. We'll start with the airstrike. 3 hits. Very nice. Oh yeah, the Soviet high morale is kicking in. I forgot about this. This happens, folks. There's just moments where the Soviets just steamroll. There's nothing you can do to stop them. Let's see, the Germans have lots of double fire, and they only scored one hit. Okay, now the Soviet tank armies. Here we go. 3 hits. Infantry, no hits. Ouch. So the Soviets are smashing right now. They are smashing. Dang. It just shows you that the German lines are still not strong enough. They're not. That's a shocker. What else? Round 2, right? We're doing round 2. Anything in the Mediterranean? Let's not forget about the British this time. We're going to blitz with the British. Now, technically, you know, the sequence here is kind of slightly being broken, but it's fine. I think I want to see a real British victory here. Especially after all the defeats that they've had so far. Okay, so here we go. Everybody likes a good comeback story. So we're going to deactivate Stavka during the blitz phase. Where do we want to put the air power? We're going to put the air power where there are more German tanks. Right there. And then we're going to move these units. And then as far as Soviet infantry and so on, it looks fine. I would like to have another Soviet unit full strength. That would be nice. I think we'll just swap out our weaker unit with a cavalry, because the Soviet cavalry are very high morale soldiers, right? They're the ones who were charging at the tanks with swords and horses. Nothing like a good cavalryman. And that's pretty much it. I mean, Soviets have a very powerful reserve. I think I would want to maybe move a few more units to the north, perhaps. No, I think they're right where they need to be. Maybe we should try to attack another part of the front just to put even more pressure on the German army. Let's give it a shot. Might as well. Our attacks might fail though, but I think we'll strain the Axis line even more, which is what we want to see. And that's that. Let's go. We have there's nothing left for the German defense. They score a hit though. Soviet 2 tank armies are now rolling, and followed by the infantry. And they have wiped out the last 3 German divisions right there. So they pretty much wiped out 2/3 of a German army. I think the German army there must have lost something like, I think about 250,000 troops. Maybe less. Maybe less. Could be maybe about 150,000. A little bit more, I would think. Like 175,000. It was 8 divisions that were neutralized. That seems reasonable. 8 by 15 or 8 by 25. Yeah, like 8 by 15. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe more than that. But yeah, German infantry got smashed. Those were basically War I German divisions. We got the battle here at Kursk. Strong German defense. Ooh. Germans scored 3 hits. So the Soviets still take heavy losses by being too ambitious. So that's that. And then we got here, Stary Oskol, airstrike, one hit, put it on the infantry. German army is at its breaking point right now. They got one more defense though, and the Germans put up pretty good defense, scoring 2 hits on the Soviets. But the unscathed Soviet tank armies blast away in response, with Soviet infantry following close behind, and they score 4 more hits. And in fact, they all but destroy the German army here. Completely deleted. Basically the equivalent of an entire German army. These defeats right now are even greater than the defeats at Stalingrad. I think they just, or at least at the moment of the encirclement, the German army just now lost more than 300,000 troops now. Now the number is much higher. In fact, I think it's maybe double. It might be like 600,000, or at least maybe like 400,000. This is bad for the Axis. I think the Axis are losing the war now. All that effort to push on the Soviet oil fields, and now the center just got smashed wide open. We got a few more battles though. We got another British attack here. The British are now chasing down the Axis as they retreat. Airstrike scores a hit. Italians, there's not much of Italian defense. They almost scored a hit. Yeah, they get completely clean swept by the British. And then, very easily now, the road to Libya is somewhat open. They can definitely chase down the Axis. Question is do they want to? They're gonna have to fight the Axis rear guard, whatever is there, and I don't know. We may find ourselves bogged down in combat again. I think the British should play it a little bit more safe. But it's probably good to leave behind a unit for the if there's a uprisings that happen over here. So yeah, I mean the British did make some progress. They kicked the Axis out, but invading Libya is a whole nother story. We saw what happened in the last year. The Axis are still very strong there, so we got to be cautious. So that's it for the British. I thought there'd be more. We'll switch now over to the Axis and see what they do. German army is in bad shape on the Eastern Front. I never thought I would actually, just when you thought the Axis were winning against the Soviets, comes this huge Soviet response that just smashes the German army. So there's gaping holes in the front, right? The whole front is just ripped open, and there's nothing there to stop the Soviets. The only thing we could do is pull out our units from, I think we got to pull them all out of here, send them to Ukraine, and focus on defending Ukraine as best we can, because the Soviets are coming back with a vengeance. So, yeah, these units are all destroyed. We can activate OKH. Let's go ahead and do that. And just try to move units around. There's just a huge Soviet juggernaut of units, and there's nothing that we could do to stop them. Maybe we could launch a counteroffensive. We could, but with only 2 units. We can only launch a counteroffensive with only 2 units. Unless we blitz. If the German army blitzes, we could actually launch a little counterattack. Let's do that. Soviets want to play, well, they can play. We're gonna counterattack with everything we have. And we're going to try to plug in this gap before it gets torn wide open any further. We're gonna move around our pretty much our Panzer Corps as needed. Let's pull out this Romanian. No, we'll leave behind the Romanian army. I think we'll defend all by itself. No. Let's pull it out. We want to keep it alive. So Bryansk is probably the best spot for it. And well, unfortunately our situation in the far north doesn't look great anymore. Smolensk looks even more vulnerable. So we can launch a counterattack, but no, we cannot launch an attack that reckless. No, that won't work. That will be too problematic. But what we can do is transfer units over to the south, and then pretty much try to fall back to Kharkov. I think that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to pull back and try to build a better line somewhere. And we're launching a counterattack. We got 3 more units to defend. Yeah. Probably do that. Try to get stronger units to move, oh man, to Smolensk, right? No, our northern situation is even more vulnerable. I wonder if this Smolensk unit can hold out all by itself. I have my doubts. It probably is best if there's a full strength unit that would be with it. I just don't have any other units. Unless I decide to abandon this whole sector of, you know, Leningrad. That'd be weird, right? But maybe it's the better move. So here's a strategic move. Let's get this Panzer Corps out of here. Let's get this infantry to fall back to Leningrad. This guy goes over here. That's 2 moves. Then I got 3 more. Let's move these units via rail. This is a very weird move. I don't know if I like it. But we're trying to just put space. Oh man, this is strange. No, you know what? Don't pull that unit out. Don't pull them out. I think we should attack, actually. We're gonna attack. Man, no. This is so bad. The whole front is so just vulnerable. I gotta realize though the Soviets don't have that many units there. I think yeah, I'm trying to vacate that space. Then we got this fortress unit. Where do I want to put that? I think we may want to move it to Smolensk as well. Double fortify Smolensk. That's probably our best odds. I think you're only allowed to put 1 though per area, right? Let's see here. Only 1 fortress can occupy Hex. That's a bummer. Okay, so I know what I'm going to do. I think maybe put the other fortress unit right there. We got to fortify both spaces. The Soviets could break out through the forest. I got to keep in mind that the double defense is not enough. So just got to keep our eyes open to any Soviet movement. And we're trying to launch a counteroffensive because that counteroffensive should, in theory, let's not pull back. Let's move forward. I don't know. Have another defensive line. Because we can, if we pull back, we can create space. So let's fall back. I'm gonna go 1, 2. No, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if this guy can make it, 5. And I got one more left. Probably move up that fortress unit, right? I'm gonna pull out this infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. See how that does. See how that holds. So we're doing, oddly enough, we're doing a blitz right now without actually attacking, which is kind of weird. Maybe we should attack somewhere. No, it's okay. So I'm gonna now deactivate OKH. Western Front movement, I don't think I plan to do anything on this turn. We're still in supplies for this Italian unit, unless I may be able to pull it out. Try to make it survive. I could try to do an amphibious move and try to, I think I can move it via sea, can't I? That might be the best move. I think this is allowed. But I can make this an invasion HQ. And then I'm going to do an invasion move on Tunis. I think the only restriction for invasion moves is that they have to be near the coast. They can't be like deep in enemy, territory. But other than that, it's fair game. So let's find out. Sea movement. Like I'm looking for like sea command, right? Invasion command. Each invasion HQ commands the movement of one invading unit and no other. They must begin the command phase in a friendly port. Okay. Oh, you can't deploy into it, okay. Invasion HQs can launch airstrikes. And then it says invasion HQs may be activated for combat support purposes only without commanding units to invade with invadable unit. What about the retreats? See assaults. What about a retreat? See evacuations. There are invasions in reverse. The commander, so then it's just commanded, the evacuating unit is a reverse invaded from a coastal hex to a friendly port commanded by an invasion HQ in the target port. So I think we just have to move it to the port. That's the only rule. So let's do that. Let's pull out this Italian army and just do that. Try to save it while we can, because there's no point in leaving it there, only then for it to be destroyed. There is pursuit, but it was double defense anyways because of the port of Tunis. Let's just accept that that's gone. So let's pull that guy back. So that's one move. The only other thing I would want to do is try to reinforce Sardinia. I think I'm going to have to do it. Get OKW to try to get some units over there. Because if we wait any longer, we're going to have a problem as far as supplies. Also, what about those supply basins? What's up with that? Come on, let's look here. Northern Front, Med Front, Eastern Front. Here we go. Western Front, Sardinia. Not allocations. We're looking for the supply basins, these MF basins. So Allied Morocco basing, and then there was Axis standard basing. Tunis. It was Tunis. That's it. So we're not going to get that. No basing this time. So these units, these E units, there's nothing special about them. They are basically just extra units. But yeah, I could like try to fortify this island. I fortify Sardinia. I guess from all possible allied invasion, we're gonna have to stack a bunch of units there. That's kind of silly. So I think we're gonna just at the very least protect all the ports. I think that seems reasonable. Put that guy there, I guess. Let's try to protect the ports. That should buy us some time, I hope. So maybe inevitably all these areas are going to fall, but we can just hold out for as long as possible. Now with the Africa Corps, I think we're just going to keep on retreating as we've been doing. And we're just going to get these units to keep marching. The Italian army, I'll tell you now, is so slow. It is so slow. No, all these units are incredibly slow. They are super slow. So I think I have to accept the fact that our Africa Corps is not as fast as I had hoped. And I'm going to have to get these units to really fall back to new positions. We are going to do a supreme move. And, oh, yeah, let's get the Africa Corps. I can't even do it. Dang it. No. Well, I guess hold off. Oh, man, this is complicated. Libya is still vulnerable, though. That's the only problem. So, I mean, if I'm going to use OKW, I want to use it to move the Mediterranean front around, not these units. But I have to protect both. Alright, so Sardinia needs to be protected right now. And then also abandoning Tobruk does not seem to be a very attractive idea right now. But the sooner I can get some units to... oh man, this is tough. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. We're not going to activate the Africa Corps. I'm going to, I'm going to activate this HQ and get the Africa Corps to Benghazi. Yeah. We're going to just hold out with what we have. Maybe we should try to counterattack against the British. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. We need more units in Tripoli. And we just don't have any. And if we lose Tripoli, all we have left is Benghazi. We can't get reinforcements easily to North Africa. And maybe we should just accept the fact that Tripoli is lost. Or could very well be lost very soon. All depends on how fast the Allies move. It really does. So with this one supreme move we have, let's just move this guy over. I can't think of anything else to do. Then we're going to go ahead and activate this HQ, and then we're going to blitz, counter blitz the British, because the only thing we can do is a good attack. And Africa Corps attacking is what it does best. So That's what we're gonna do. We can only attack with the German units though. This is a huge gamble. Don't think it's a good idea. It seems like a really bad idea, actually. No, let's not do that. Too risky. Too risky. I guess we're just gonna have to methodically pull these guys back out. Let Tobruk defend on its own. Oh, if I were to blitz though, I got it. We're gonna blitz. And then we're gonna get these units just hightailing it. We're sprinting the heck out of here. That's exactly what we're doing. Okay, got it. So that's that. That's the initial phase. Now for the blitz phase. We're gonna send these units who have the speed to just run over there. Just like that. So we have a unit behind that can defend, leave another rear guard for the British to slow down the British pretty much. That's pretty good. Those are some pretty good moves, I gotta say. So that's that. Next we move. Right, we've still got a few more moves here in the winter. We still got this Axis Blitz. Now we're gonna attack. We didn't attack last time. Oh, I think this guy, I was trying to get this guy to move over there. Should be over there. And I probably should have transferred another HQ as well. So no, we'll leave this unit behind. Yeah. Pulling it out would be nice though. No, I'm really counting on this counterattack, aren't I? All right. Let's do the counterattack. Leave that unit there. These two guys will be right there. We still have this pursuit fire over here. Let's do that. No, it didn't survive. Okay, so we've abandoned Kursk. Soviets have retaken Kursk. And you know, in hindsight, I don't think I even want to counterattack. I don't want to counterattack right now. I'm not going to. It's better that we don't. We're just gonna have to hope for better dice next time. So it's got some really good dice rolls. Yeah, so we're gonna hold out. So those are all the moves for the Axis. Next Fortnight. That was tough. A lot of moves there for the Axis. But we'll go ahead and do the Soviets. They got another Fortnight, so it was a textbook success for the Soviets. The real question is, do we want to keep pushing forward? My short answer is no, we won't, because our units are very under strength right now. They could be built up. All I want to do right now is just make sure that all the areas that I've taken can be protected. So I'm going to put this unit here. And the idea is to just make sure we can fortify the line. I don't want to have any weak units there. All I want are full strength units. That's all I want. Don't need anything else at the front line right now. And that's it for the Soviets. Very simple. Oh, I just realized I pulled this guy out the wrong way. Oh, you know what? I can send him forward like that. Haha. That's actually pretty nice. Pretty nice move. Kind of like it. You know what? We're going to advance with as many Soviet units as we can. And try to build as many frontal areas as we can, too. Yeah, we got... Oh, man. Our rail supplies... No, it's good. It's good. So we definitely gained more territory, which is nice. And I plan to hold on to this territory. We just now need to start filling up the rest of the front. Then we got ourselves a pretty good proposition there for the Soviets. So that's it for the Soviets. That was an easy turn. Let's see what the Western Allied powers are going to do. They're not going to attack. Their HQs are completely under strength. But we will move this HQ forward so that it can attack Tobruk on the next turn. No, we'll just pass. And then the Americans, what can they do? Most of these HQs are pretty exhausted. I say we make a push onto, I don't know. I want Tunis to be protected. So you know what? I think the Americans are not going to do anything on this turn neither. I don't know, maybe I do. I gotta stick to the roads though. No, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these American units in an offensive position so that we can do amphibious operations on a future turn. We've taken Tunis. Question is will we take Libya? And I don't know yet. We keep the Axis guessing either way. So that is it for the British. So second fortnight, much less eventful than the first. I thought the Allies were gonna do like a huge breakthrough towards Libya. They slowed down a lot. So we have a level 1 HQ left. I could use it to move the Africa Corps to, say, Tripoli. And then once it's in Tripoli, maybe in range to... If I can start moving German units to Tunis, there is the possibility that we could launch a counteroffensive on Tunisia and retake Tunis. I don't know how feasible it is, but if we try and it succeeds, you got yourself a pretty good situation. Also, Sardinia looks protected. Sicily looks protected. Albania is out of range. So all the major colonies are protected. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to pass on this turn as well. And leave it at that. So that's what we have. So huge Soviet push. The Soviet offensive is not over yet. We'll see what else is in stock, but that was impressive. I did not expect that. Just when I thought I had the game fully understood. The Soviets retook Kursk. They now have 4 stacked units along the whole front. They left this area vacant to the north. But yeah, the German army is going to have to fall back to to Ukraine, basically, they're gonna have to fall back because the Soviet juggernaut right now, they can keep smashing. If the success they had was huge, they wiped out 5 German corps. That was pretty bad. That was I think heaviest casualties for the war for the German army just in one turn. 5 corps, all full strength too. They were all full strength, and they were all wiped out. That's crazy. And in just literally 2 weeks, that was a complete Soviet blitz. That was a textbook Soviet blitz. Talk about payback. Soviet casualties were also much lower than the Germans, much less. So I guess in our version, the Soviets have much more quality than historical. I'm not sure what to say on that. It came down to good dice roll. I think morale must have been a big part of it. I think the Soviet army the morale was very boosted by the fact that all those tank armies were now available. So it goes to show that if you really save up your tank armies with the Red Army, it pays off. It definitely pays off. And also we got a good defense here. We outnumber the German army significantly. Yeah. So the German army is on the defensive on the Eastern Front. I think that's clear. Will be, at least for this winter. Yeah, definitely. And they're defending on all fronts pretty much. Everywhere, nowhere is the Axis attacking. They're defending everywhere. And a successful attack on Tunis, man, it's hard to do. Very hard to do. But not impossible. Not impossible, but very hard to do. And this may be time to just withdraw out of Libya. In fact, get the German army to pull out. Just send them off to these other areas. Let Libya fall all by itself. And then start preparing to defend Italy. The Allies are going to gain naval supremacy, and that's a big game changer. Big problem if the Allies gain naval supremacy. So maybe we sit tight and wait for the Allies to come and squeeze our situation out of Benghazi. Maybe we can defend. It's a better position to defend from. It's hard to say. It's hard to say what's the best defensive position right now. I would argue that Tripoli is. Yeah, without a doubt, Tripoli is the best place because the supply lines for the British are so extended. Supply lines for the Americans would also be 50-50. You could say the same thing, though, about Benghazi. So either port is a good place for the Axis to defend. I don't know if we can defend both, though. I don't think so. We have to pick one. I think Tripoli might be better. Also, like El Agheila, like trying to defend it. I don't think we have any defensive advantages unless you're on the other side. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.